Whether you're an athlete, entrepreneur, student, or literally anyone, failure is a part of everyone's life. The human mind is programmed in a way that it learns from nothing else but failure. So, if you think about it, this long way we've come today is only because of someone constantly building through failure. Some people let the fear of it destroy their minds, and some take it in as a lesson and learn from it. But we're not getting into these mindsets today because in this video, we'll be discussing ways you can possibly avoid failure in life. So, let's jump right into it. Number 10, be mindful of huge expectations. Whether you like it or not, it's nature's rule. Whenever you expect huge results and don't receive them, it'll turn out to be quite a heartbreaking failure. So, the best way to avoid it? Simply cut off the unrealistic expectations. Now, this doesn't mean that you completely put an end to your expectations because, to some extent, expectations are quite important, as they're the driving force for fulfilling potential and reaching goals, but rather try keeping a tight check on the totally unreal side of expectations, as the highest chances of failure come along when they aren't met. If you think about it, no artist in the world would have ever succeeded if he or she always expected their first set of albums to hit their highest record sales of all time. So, you shouldn't as well. Number 9, rely more on the efforts than IQ. The vulnerability of relying on your intelligence, or IQ, is a point we've discussed quite a lot in this channel. An observation that fits perfectly in this area is about a chess study conducted that had a combination of higher and lower IQ individuals competing against each other. Now, obviously, you'd expect the higher IQ individuals to play better, right? Well, that's definitely not what happened. It was quite shocking to see that the individuals with a lower IQ played better simply due to the fact that they put in more effort when practicing. They knew the fact that they didn't have the extra edge of intelligence versus others who completely relied on their higher IQ to carry them through. Putting in effort is much more important than any talent you might have, as it will bring out and teach you much more than just your natural set of skills, therefore drastically reducing chances of failure in anything you may be striving for. So, the next time you fail in anything, always ask yourself, did you actually put in the effort or not? Number 8, there's no shame in turning back. One of the biggest mistakes people today make is by considering themselves a prove-it machine. If a decision, plan, or choice you made 6 months back doesn't seem right now, don't do it. Just because you told your friends or family that you're firm with the decision you made doesn't mean that turning away from it sooner or later is shameful in any kind of way. If your gut feeling doesn't say well of it, then turning away from it probably what should be doing, because if your mind isn't fully approving of it, then you'll never be able to put it in your 100% and obviously end up failing. Don't push yourself into executing plans or ideas that don't make sense to you anymore just because you want to prove it to someone or show yourself as a firm decision maker. Always remember, there's the regret of turning back from something, but it doesn't hurt as much as the regret of failure does. Number 7, push the line of failure a little farther. Obviously, failure isn't a physical line that once you cross, you're considered to have failed, but rather try pushing the line, which you consider the fail point, a little further, simply meaning not surrendering too quickly. We've all been told the story of those two diggers who were competing to reach the layer of diamonds first. One had a long way to dig, but didn't stop because he believed he would get there, and the other was just a centimeter of dirt away from getting there, but gave up because he thought the land had no diamonds present. And you definitely do not want to be the second one, do you? So, better keep digging. If you're a digger in search of precious metals, keep innovating. If you're an entrepreneur, or keep pushing yourself to study those chapters which seem too complicated. If you're a student, but at least pushing the line of failure a little further, because who knows, you're just a flip of a page away from discovering something that may change your life completely. Number 6. Try to avoid failure, but don't be horrified by it. Finance author Robert Kiyosaki, in his debut novel, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, once mentioned how some people are so afraid of losing that they never win. You see, failure is a part of everyone's life. You're probably sitting where you are because of someone constantly going through failure and learning from it. So, why even think bad of it? We can always try to avoid failure in life, but being scared of it will not take anyone anywhere. If it comes your way, try to compete head to head with it. Confront it and try to improve yourself or your plans with it. Obviously, unless you're ready to risk $100,000, how on earth can you possibly make $10 million from it? Now, if you lose your $100,000, that's quite a painful failure. But does it end right there? Probably not, because now you've learned which companies are volatile to invest in, how the stock market actually works, or signs that a property investment scheme or mutual fund is fake. So, now you can either completely let the fear of losing money again eat you alive, or invest, but with a better homework. This time because now you're wise enough to understand what actually works or why it does or doesn't work. The same goes for executing risky ideas or literally any of your decisions. If failures come along the way, try improving your plans or simply stop and work on another one. Number 5. Get inspired. Rags to riches and failure to success. History is filled with such stories, and they are exactly what you need. The most inspiring of them would probably be the unfortunate life story of Eminem. Yes, perhaps the greatest and richest rapper of all time, came from quite a very painful background. From struggling to pay rent, dropping out of school, family struggling with drug abuse, being bullied in the neighborhood, and struggling to fit in a black-dominated rap culture. After quite a few unsuccessful suicide attempts, Eminem began focusing strictly on the only thing he had left, which was rap. With the release of his first album, the disappointment and the hate from rap fans came along really quickly, mostly because of the fact that he was white and the rap scene at the time was largely black-dominated. After a while, a recorded tape of his performance started running around and caught the ears of rapper and producer Dr. Dre, who helped him become the Eminem people know today. Eminem went on to releasing another album, also his debut, Slim Shady LP, which sold more than 3 million copies worldwide and eventually won him a Grammy. Failure to success stories like these are crucial to learn from today, and there can never be a limit to such stories because people even today keep adding to them. Number 4. Ask yourself instead of shutting down. Think about it. If you're failing or something isn't working out for you, it's your fault. So, instead of whining about the downfall of your work, plans, decisions, or ideas, ask yourself first, why isn't it working out? Am I doing it the wrong way? Do I need help? Should I consult an experienced individual in this field? Or did I actually put in the effort it needs? Don't take the shortcut of simply quitting after failure, but rather try asking yourself what, why, and where it all actually went wrong. So this way, you can get back to resolving the issue and getting back to it instead of simply letting go of it all. Number 3, be mindful of your time. Although we've discussed the sheer importance of time on this channel quite frequently, it doesn't hurt to be reminded once again. Time is precious, and how you distribute your time will dramatically impact your vulnerability to failure. If you prioritize things or plans which shouldn't be your top priority, then you're definitely more prone to failure, simply because you're ignoring what's actually important at the moment. If you're putting your mind to something that doesn't require it right now, will lead to important and unimportant matters being prioritized in the wrong order. This is why successful individuals begin their day with noting down priorities in a day planner, setting the most important task at the highest priority and lower ones in the less important category. This way, they put actual productive effort into whatever they're working on. Therefore, significantly cutting down chances of failure. Number 2, if you're a team, choose your leader. A leader, boss, or MVP isn't for the whole team or partnership to blame after failure, but rather for trusting his or her guidance and decision-making towards a common goal. Now, it's obvious that if you choose a leader who's indecisive and doesn't contribute well, then chances of failure are quite magnified. But always assign leadership to a person who can lead the group with a firm plan and is wise enough to understand the rights and wrongs. Obviously, not everyone can be a leader. Some people just cannot lead or make beneficial decisions. You may not be having the same powerful qualities as your, let's say, business partners do. And if it's obvious that they know and understand more than you, simply assign them the leadership. Again, not for blaming or passing on responsibility when facing low times, but for trusting their decisions and ideas more than yours or anyone else's in the group. Number 1, plan beforehand. Obviously, failure is a part of everyone's life, and everyone has their own way of avoiding or dealing with it. But perhaps the best and easiest way to avoid failure is to simply be prepared for it. You can acknowledge your potential failures and put them into perspective. So this way, you'll always be prepared for it beforehand and understand how you can handle it if it does come your way. If you plan beforehand, you'll also be prepared with your next moves. So the chances of making knee-jerk decisions that you will regret later will be diminished. Always remember, the storm never shakes a person who already knew it was coming towards them. So, to avoid failure, you'll need to be that person. Anyways, this is all we have for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more informational videos just like this one. Let us know in the comments below how you've coped with failure in life, and we'll catch you in the next one soon.